Morpheus and the pill. And choices, such. Ooh, the red pill. Yeah, update video. Cool. Not really. So anyway, yeah, last video I did, we'll do where it starts, where it begins. Let's go back to the last update. Stick cam. Well, we'll go there. There's the what the fuck. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not that many videos. I guess they're long videos or something. Seems like a lot of videos anyway. Well, it is only Wednesday. Anyway. Okay, on love, Zizek killing Inmendham. So that was the Luddite Returns guy. Turdite, we have to call him. He's really been very snarky. So it's basically this nihilism crap, and it's sort of the theme of the week is this stupid nihilism, like we're really wasting our time. I mean, we can't even agree that there is some commodity in existence in the universe that has fundamental value, intrinsic value, the welfare of sentient creatures. We can't basically all agree that they have intrinsic value, that they are in different states of qualitative experiential quality, from good to not good, or from horrible to not horrible. I mean, this should not have to be discussed. It should be just acknowledged. And maybe let's argue about what these subjective organisms project into the world in terms of saying I desire, or I like, or I want, or I need. But let's not deny the fact that they want, they need, that they are in states that are fundamentally variable and fundamentally, qualitatively different. That they can be in a state that is decidedly not good, something to be not have happen, prevention, something we should prevent, should, ought, must prevent, and states that are not so bad, not so in need of preventing, not so horrific. I mean, not to be able to concede that minimum is so obnoxious. I mean, just obnoxious to any kind of discussion about what it is to be here, what it is to be capable of doing in the world, changing in the world. I mean, if you're going to tie your hands because of some sort of idiocy where you're saying put suffering in a bottle where I can see it, well, no one's going to be able to do that for you, ever. It's a phenomenon created by a mechanical process. It's like saying put noise in a bottle. You can't do it. Okay, you can't. You can capture it, you can record it, you can find some mechanism to replay it, to re-show it, to re-demonstrate it, but you can never take it and put it in front of you and say, there it is. It is a happening. It is an event produced. And it can't be. It must be reproduced. It can't be stored somewhere. It can't be confined. There's no container that can hold the plasma of the conscious experience. I mean, this is just so these aren't like stupid people. These aren't like people, eating, beer-flavored macaroni and cheese or something. These are people that are supposed to have like an education and a brain, and to have to explain that, that anything I put in front of you that's a living thing, alive, that has a brain, is producing an experience. It has a welfare. It has a condition that can be favorable or good, or unfavorable and bad. There's the core of value. Like I said, you want to argue about the fact that it's really nuanced and going to be difficult to put this stuff on a scale and measure it. Well, go ahead and make that argument. But to make this argument that doesn't exist, that welfare doesn't exist, that sentient beings don't produce a welfare state. I'm sorry that sounds like some sort of political shit, but it is what we have. We have a condition, and there's just no denying it. So anyway, I'm making a plea for a little bit of rationality from these people. All right. The good, the bad, and the gray text. That was a response to gray text, and it's really annoying that I get that was a pretty disciplined video. I've been pretty unhostile, and he's still being a snarky asshole, and just stupid comments he makes in his own videos, like somehow walking and talking is a demonstration of my hypocrisy, because I don't fly to work. And I jeopardize little feeling creatures by walking. I've already said this before. I don't have to account for the fact that life is so disgustingly, unacceptably brutal, in the sense that the simplest things you do can jeopardize something else's welfare, and that we can't predict anything. So his very notion that we can't know. Well, yeah, we can know in generalities. We can know lots of things, but there's lots of things we can't. We can't buy a fail-safe ticket. We can't try to be. We can try to be fail-safe, but we really can't achieve it. We don't know when we're supposed to say "fuck you" or when we're supposed to say "I love you," and what destinies we change with those different phrases. How we affect, in the end, the game. Whether we're doing good by doing good, or whether we're doing bad when we're doing bad. We don't know. Sometimes the end result is very favorable for doing really bad things, really obnoxious things. Who knows if Kennedy wasn't assassinated? Maybe he would just absolutely suck in his second term. I mean, there's just no way of knowing these things. And that's the tragedy of it. That's one of the strikes, big strikes against it, is that there is no controlling the monster to a necessary level. We don't have enough control. We can't take enough control. We can't make a contract with life. We can't say, look, I'll give up, whatever, the Venetian boat rides and French poo-foo food, for immunity to going blind. We can't make these trades because we care about stuff, and we have our own sensibilities, and we can't do much to insure ourselves against our maximum horror. And yeah, that's just who wants to play a game that doesn't have rules that you can know what you're in for. I mean, if you go out and play football, you sort of know what can happen. You sort of know how to minimize your risk. When you play life, you can know how to do it, and you're still not going to be able to do it because the rules just aren't there. Somebody can show up at any minute with a 9mm and just take your nuts out. Anyway, all right, the fat dickhead. So that's the whatever he is, generic fat guy, and still not dealing with the fundamental argument. So there really was no point to this whole thing, because the fundamental argument is the only argument that matters. He's defending the basic premises that photoshopping is the way people should be arguing on the internet, and that it's okay to tax a minority vice excessively, but not his vices. So it's just gross bigotry and hypocrisy, and I'm not hearing anything like a rational counter argument to that accusation that it's fundamentally unconstitutional, it's fundamentally exploitation, and they got nothing. Yeah, that's what they got. All right, logic and such. This is a response to Piro and some other videos. A couple of Piro videos, and I can't remember who the other people were that inspired that video, but I think that was a pretty good video. So of the videos, that might be one of the better ones. Just explaining that the logics of it's in the world. The truth about relationship is in the world. The truth about the fact that mercury's a liquid and water's a liquid and all liquids behave a certain way and blah blah blah. These are all truths, and these are all the way that logic is put together. We logically compare one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing, a circumstance to a circumstance to a circumstance. We collect them in categories or groups, give those categories or groups a word, an identifier, and then use that concept in our language, which is almost like a quantum mathematics. It's a set mathematics where you take the whole set, you know, bad, good, evil, fun. You put these sets, and you can move the whole set through these equations, and you can have it is fun, set fun, you know, to bathe with hot chick. You know, and these all have hot and chick. All these things have categories that fit, you know, things that fit in those categories. And so it's just basically a logically stated mathematical equation. So when you make a statement that something is fun and something, and this is the thing that's fun, you're just doing the put together a mathematical equation with quantities that we sort of have identified. And the thing only breaks down, logic only breaks down when our words break down, when the words don't have meaning, like spontaneous or random or some other kind of probability even is dangerous. This probability is more about identifying the error in our assessment of inevitability. What is the error variable? What is the variable? The unknown variable creates the idea of probability. The idea of randomness. So anyway, that's a good video. Regarding Ephelist or idiot. So that was a response to a guy who did a 3-minute video just pissing you know, on the subject. Very superficial, same old kind of silly arguments. I think he made them. I think I anticipated an argument he didn't make, but it was in there. You know, not really getting to the substance of the subject, which is the whole dynamic of evolution and abiogenesis and chemicals and gladiator war and creating our own mess to clean up kind of thing. No, it doesn't get to any of that stuff. Just kind of a superficial I like life statement which doesn't do anything, doesn't account in any way for the fact that your life has cost something. Something had to pay to maintain it through history. People have paid very high prices. How high a price is okay? How many people have to die in the next world war, let's say, for you to say, nah, maybe we ought to just give this thing up? I mean, these are real questions that nobody wants to answer, but, you know, they're there to be asked. Alright, so then the Hannibal Barca, a real hypocrite. Yeah, it's kind of a sloppy response video, but his argumentation is so disconnected. He's trying to mix 4 subjects in one argument, and that breaks logic. My character, my individual ability to be a perfectness, to be perfect, my failure to be perfect isn't a subject, isn't a reasonable subject. The subject is the statements I make, not how I live. So even if I was a preposterous hypocrite, it would be irrelevant to the arguments. I'm not saying he proved I was a hypocrite. I'm just saying his argument that somehow because I smoke cigarettes, I have a vice, that somehow I can't say that anybody else's vice should be treated equally to cigarettes. See, that's what I mean. He's just mixing the subjects. I mean, the subject is, why is one vice treated so much more shabbily than these other vices? And the argument is the only reason is because of a bigotry, because of you people thinking your majority vice is somehow sacred, God-given majority vice, and that somehow other vices are not. They're devil vices. And that is just a crock of shit. Yeah. All right. No need for more needers. This is partly about nihilism, really, and so it's more of the same nihilistic kind of argument, just making the argument that you know, these feeling states are the important thing. What makes us feel is not relevant. So what we say is valuable to us individually. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that we are a value device, is that we are capable of registering a value state, that we make the value. So even if the thing has no value, The fact that we react and create value is the thing that's important. We create a value state. We create a qualitative feeling state that is can be decidedly benign or horribly unbenign, to qualify the language. And it is that unbenignness, that malignant feeling, that is the kernel, at least a substantive kernel, in a discussion about ethics and value. The fact that we can be in that state makes what we do, what happens to us, it creates oughts, it creates must, it creates the idea that there is an imperative, an obligation, a responsibility, that there is value to be controlled, in need of control, in need of balancing. Yeah, something like that. So anyway, till the next video, I would suggest, if you have some kind of brilliant comment to make, some sort of brilliant little argument, question kind of thing, a question. It's not this personal shit, but I'm going to do the radio show thing, with me and Adam. We don't have a guest again, apparently, so far anyway, as far as I know. So, now I have plenty of subjects, so it's not going to matter too much. But if you have some, really good question, you could put it in the comment section. If it's a good enough question, I'll answer. I'll talk about the subject anyway or something. But, yeah, no guarantees. It has to say something to me. I'm not going to care. But yeah, asking, how big my feet are is not going to work. That's not going anywhere. So anyway, I think that's about all there is. Yeah, I think that satisfies my obligations. Yeah, I'm good with that. So I will continue to attempt to list the videos that have been done in the description section. All of them might be there, they might not be there. They should all end up on donotgod.com. And I am going to try to get to Bloggerdome, remaking Bloggerdome, eventually. I just, time. Who's got time for this crap? Not me. And, I'm still fighting some sort of intertuberal infection thingy or whatever. Anyway, till next time.